So I was going to go easier on this movie for the sake of my wife, who really, really loved the movie, but she doesn't subscribe to me on YouTube anyway, so all bets are off. So Beauty and the Beast is directed by Bill Condon, and it stars Emma Watson, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Dan Stevens, Ian McKellen, and Ewan McGregor. You know what the story is. It's the tale as old as time. Young woman named Belle, she doesn't like living in her small town full of idiots. Her father gets kidnapped in a castle, she goes and trades places with him, and then falls in love with her captor, who is a hideous, enormous beast. And in the end, it's what's on the inside that counts. So anyone who's been watching my videos for a while and watched my most anticipated movies of 2017, this movie was actually number 3. I was super excited to see it, and I couldn't wait. All the trailers and everything that I'd seen leading up to it got me really, really excited and geared up to see the movie. And for the most part, I did enjoy it, but it ended up being a movie of a lot of really high points and a lot of really low points. It's a very up and down movie for me. First off, I'll talk about some of the things that I loved. Like one of the songs, Be Our Guest, is absolutely amazing. I completely loved it. The sequence was phenomenal. Of the new songs that they have in the movie, the one that's sung by the Beast called Evermore I thought was the best. It really shows a different side of his character and shows more what he's feeling. And I liked that song a lot. I thought it really worked within the scope of the film. Let's talk about some of the characters in the movie. First off, Emma Watson as Belle. I really, really liked her. I didn't listen to any of the clips of her singing before I saw the movie because I wanted to save it for the film. And when I saw her singing, I did really like it. I think it worked. Obviously, it's not as good as the Broadway singer who is in the animated film, but it's a voice that fits within this movie, and I liked it quite a bit. Based off of everything I saw, I knew Luke Evans as Gaston was going to be my favorite character from this movie, and he absolutely was. I think he knocks it out of the park. He gives a great performance as Gaston. His Gaston is a little bit different than the one in the animated film, but the changes that they made to him I was okay with. I didn't really have a problem with it for the most part. Ewan McGregor and Ian McKellen as Lumiere and Cogsworth I thought really worked well in the film. I liked their chemistry, I liked their humor, how they played off of each other, but I do think that their characters were a little shortchanged and not in the movie quite enough. I would have liked to see them a little bit more. Dan Stevens as the Beast I really liked as well. I liked his performance, I liked his singing. They gave the character some more backstory than they do in the animated film, and I liked what they added to him. Just gives him a little bit more depth, and we understand where he's coming from just a little bit more. And for the most part, I really liked the cinematography in this movie as well. Some shots and camera movements feel a little bit weird and out of place, but for the most part, it works, and I liked it. They made a few changes and alterations to the beginning of the story that solved some of the plot holes and time issues that people have with the Beauty and the Beast story. I thought that was a nice addition, and I liked what it did to the story as a whole. Alright, let's get into some of the negatives of this movie. I've got some issues with it, and I'm going to talk about it right now. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. First off, let's talk about the CGI. I don't know if they were trying to go for a realistic look, like with the Jungle Book, or if they were going for something that looks a little more cartoony. And because I don't know what they were going for, I can't really judge either way, because it seems like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. And because I didn't know what they were going for, the CGI sometimes threw me right off and took me out of the movie. Secondly, I think the magic in this movie makes absolutely no sense. There are no rules for the magic, there's no explanation for the magic, and because of that, it's something that bothered me, and I wanted to know what was going on, what are these characters able to do, what are they not able to do. Let's talk about some of the music that didn't work. I think the opening musical number of Belle, when she's going through the town and singing about how she wants more than the life she's living, and the town is a bunch of idiots, I think that sequence is almost unwatchably bad. I was watching this sequence at the beginning of the movie, and I was really, really worried for the rest of the film, because the sequence did not work for me. I thought the timings of it were all off, I thought the camera movements were really weird, I thought the singing was strange, I thought the changes to it were off, I didn't like the look of the town. It was something that threw me way off, and I'm happy to say that that's probably the worst part of the movie, and it's right at the beginning, so you get it over with and you move on. One of my favorite songs from the animated film is Gaston, when they're in the bar singing about how great Gaston is, and so I was really looking forward to that sequence in this movie, and that song kind of let me down. They're all going around the bar singing about how great he is, but they're not showing me how great he is. And filmmaking is a visual medium. You need to show me, not tell me. I really wish they would have given a little extra into that sequence and something that I would have walked away from a little more satisfied with. So there are some story changes in the movie that really, really work, like when they fix plot holes and stuff, but then there are some story changes that I thought didn't work at all and simply didn't need to be in the movie. For example, they add stuff extra with like Belle's mom, and they give her mom and dad some more backstory, and we find out about how Belle was born and things like that, and I thought that just didn't work. It didn't need to be in the movie. It's not something that I needed. Another story element that didn't work for me is they gave a lot of extra stuff to the Enchantress, who casts the spell and sets the curse on the Beast in the castle. I thought they should have had her just in the beginning, have her cast her curse, and have her be out. I don't need to see her popping up through the film again and again. I don't want that, I don't need that. And then probably the biggest negative that I have for this movie is when they were doing all the promotions, they released these posters. And I thought that the humans looked absolutely stupid. Now, I hadn't seen the movie yet, so I decided to reserve reservations until I saw the movie to see how it works within the scope of the film. And within the film, it looks absolutely stupid. I think when you want to have characters that look period accurate to the time that they're living in, I think you need to have some give and take. And you can't go full like wigs and powdered makeup and stuff like that. It doesn't look good. I don't think it works. If you look at the live action Disney Cinderella that they put out a couple of years ago, I think that the look that they made for those movies, I think that really works and that fit within that film. But I think the look of these characters within this movie just clashes, and it threw me out, and I couldn't even stand to look at them because I thought they just looked so cartoonish and dumb. So even though the movie did have a lot of ups and downs for me, in the end I did enjoy it, and I will say that Beauty and the Beast is just barely above average. So that's it for my review of Beauty and the Beast. Thanks for watching it. You can comment below, let me know what you thought of the movie. Let me know what you thought of this review and all the reasons you think that I'm wrong. You can give me a subscription if you haven't done so already. And if you've got nothing else to do, go watch more movies.